Hey, everyone. This is J&A. This is the Let's Get Loud with J&A podcast. Do you like it?
I love the name.
I
Let's
love the
get
name.
loud.
Loud.
Let's get loud.
Okay, did you listen to the words of the song? So this is what happened, you guys. I was spinning and it was done. I was at the last song, and the next song on that playlist was Let's Get Loud. And it started, and it's like, oh, hey, like it really gets you right from the get-go. It's like not every song has that like we're getting up right now, right at the beginning. Sometimes it's just the chorus or whatever. Anyway, so I said in the microphone in my class, I'm like, oh man, okay, I need to not forget Let's Get Loud. Let's play that tomorrow morning. Because I said, it's been a while since I've played that song. That's a great spin song. So while it's playing the next day, I don't forget. The next day I put Let's Get Loud, and it's like, you got to do it. You got to do it your way. You got to prove it. You got to mean what you say. And it was just like, I'm like, it's too much. Like, it's too much. Like, you got to do it. You got to do it your way. I can't. So it became this thing where I actually play it every class now. It is the last song of the class. And the people know, I'm like, last song, it's a 4-minute song. It ends perfectly with that vibe as well. Like, and once it's done, we just like clap, like it's like a good vibe. So I'm like basically rebranding your weight loss. So Let's Get Loud. I don't know. It just goes so well with us right now. Don't you find?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And maybe it'll almost like give us that confidence a little bit to be louder.
And you know what? I think that the guest, so this podcast will do the best. Like basically they've already listened to it.
Okay.
We'll do it so that it comes out tomorrow. So we're kind of like in real time, you guys. So today is Monday. And you know what? I think that speaking with her is for sure will most likely, I don't know. I want to talk to her about it. I do. It's one of the topics I do want to talk to her about. And I see that her loudness has made her grow on social media, like it has. And we have hit a point in our social media growth that is kind of like stabled and not stable. It's stable.
Stabilized.
Yeah, stabilized. And I find that like it's definitely what's missing. And it's not because we're not loud. It's we're not loud on the internet. Like we are loud about what we believe in. And if we sit at a table, people know who we are and what we believe in. And we're not the quiet kind. No. So, but it's just on the internet, there is that part that scares us. So I'm excited to talk to her. And if you missed that episode on Thursday, please go listen. She is one of a kind on the internet, but she is kind of like putting herself out there. And I'm excited to see how that interview, I don't know, because like hopefully a lot of our followers or a lot of our listeners will listen to it and just listen to what she has to say.
Yeah, I think they will. And just even me just going on Instagram and like resharing a couple of her reels and her videos, and she's just F-bombing away and just in your face. This is what I believe. You are wrong. I am right. This is it. I love it. I respect it.
Because, okay, let's be real with our people here. Because, yeah, it's scary, but we're soft on the internet, but in the back, we're right and you're wrong. Like that's how we think. Like, you know, we're like, oh man, like we're trying to be like, we want to be respectful. And I think that it's not that she's not being respectful. Like it all is your perception of what she's trying to do and seeing her mission behind like what she's doing, you know? And I want to talk to her. I want to start that way. I really want to talk about her mission and what she's doing and why she's showing up in that way. And I know what her mission is. I see it. Like she really wants to teach people calorie deficit, and she wants people to stop with their fucking bullshit. Like and that's what we want to, but we're just like more soft about it. But it's literally like she's next level. We don't have to swear at every second word, but also there's also, I don't care that she swears at every second word. Like do your thing, you know?
Yeah. And I think her people are different than our people. Like our place on the internet is a little bit is different. It's not like, oh, we want to become her, but you know, Jose and I have been talking about being louder.
Yes.
And what happens, guys, is it's scary. The internet is a scary place. There's a lot of people with a lot of opinions. And there's been times when we've been attacked on the internet before, and it was terrible. And
it really was terrible.
It was one of the hardest moments, I think.
Yeah. So you know, there was this one specific moment, you guys, where we were literally like attacked on the internet. And I do believe though the circumstance, like just everything's different right now. And if this,
Agreed.
I think that we would see it differently right now than we would have back then. It was very like, it was our first time almost any negativity towards us or your weight loss. And so now it's like, I mean, we've seen negativity since we did TikTok. Like we're like, okay, we see what's out there. And I don't know, I feel stronger and more sure about what we do than ever before. And I feel like, and maybe it'll take us a few years before we're feeling super strong. Like, I don't know why, but we still have work to do on that end, and we know it.
Yeah, I agree. And we need to find what feels right for us as well, and to share in a way that,
It's authentic to us. Like swearing at every second word is not who we
no.
are.
And
But
I don't,
yeah.
as you guys are listening to this, I don't want you to think, oh my gosh, they've been faking it all this time on the internet.
Oh,
That's
no, no, no.
absolutely not. Like, we're showing up as authentically ourselves on the internet, but there are things that we wish we could say, but we're not saying because we don't want to hurt your feelings, basically.
Yeah,
Let's be
exactly.
honest.
And maybe that's okay. Like we're still that's why we haven't really, we have made some progression towards it, but it's like there is that space where we know our audience and we want to make sure that they know that we want to make sure they know our intentions. And so I don't know if we're trying to build a relationship with our audience first before we can really open up. And again, it's not like we're showing up and we're not being, I think a lot of you know us, that we're showing up pretty authentically. It's just, there are definitely some things, what we do? We avoid certain topics. So it's not that what we decide to share, we share and we believe in, and we will be loud about it. There are certain things that we've definitely not even touched on, or we like kind of avoid just because we don't want to hurt your feelings, or we don't know if the people listening can filter. Can you filter if this is even about you? People struggle with content on the internet and filtering if that's actually about them or not. And I think that we're trying to get people at a place where they're more emotionally mature on the internet as well. And like, this might not be about you. This might not be your situation, but we're talking to the most common type of people, the most common.
Absolutely. And we're trying everything that we say. And often, I'll say things, maybe at my meeting or, not so publicly. And I'll say, like, are within our membership. The intentions behind what I'm about to say or share with you is so that you can see through your own bullshit and you can actually accomplish what you want to accomplish right now. It is not to make you feel bad or small or lesser or like you're a complainer. It is, my intentions are always, our intentions have always and will always be for people to finally achieve what they've wanted to achieve.
Honestly, it's to increase self-awareness.
100%.
And I think that if we don't have those conversations that are very transparent, very vulnerable, more open, then you don't have the self-reflection to say, hey, is this about me or not? If the conversations aren't on the table, you're not creating any awareness towards that certain topic. And so inside the membership, there's definitely less, not that there's bullshit on the internet, but there's definitely, or on our internet, but there's definitely more open conversations about weight loss, about calorie deficit, about you and your excuses and your reasons. Like, for sure, that is definitely more happening within the membership, because you know what? We're like, they paid for this service.
Oh, 100%.
And that's the difference, right? Like when we're on the internet, not everyone wants what we have to say, but we have to realize this is our space. And I think I'm starting slowly within my own personal Instagram or my own personal Facebook. Like, I've recently posted something and there was like some backlash, and I was like, no, you're not going to go on my own and like on my own personal Facebook or Instagram and then say what my intentions are on my own. Like, that was not the intention of this post. So go away. That is not what I was doing. Like, that was not what I was insinuating. That, like, stop making this negative when it's clearly just for fun. And so for me, it's like, I'm like starting to be like, no, this is my space. And if that's your perception of what I just wrote, you can keep scrolling with your perception. But if you choose to say what your perception is in my comments on my wall, I will then respond with what my perception was, so that I can have because I should be able to speak about my own post on my own wall. But sometimes I would have not even like responded. kind of like the fire is going to go away. And I'm like, I'm not going to respond when it's not on my own wall. But if it's on my own wall and it's something that I chose to share, then I do get that right. Just like you decided to open up that fire or to like open up that can of worms, you know? So but I feel like we're definitely loved on the internet. You know what I mean? But so is Beth. So it's not like she's doing this and she's getting all hate, because she definitely gets more hate, but she also has more people that know she exists, but she has a lot of love as well. People do enjoy she found her people.
That's the thing, right? And James Smith always says it too. He's like, I'm not for everyone. And he is like also extremely bold. Like he says words and says things. And he's like, he went into it as knowing that would turn people off, but really turn a lot of people on. You know what I mean? Like
Alicia, it turns her on.
I'm trying to be less creepy on the internet about him so that when I do meet him, because we're going to meet him because he's going to come to Canada. Did you see that he commented on one of his posts that he had more like little spots in Canada than America?
Oh yeah. And it's because of us. I believe so. No, he also like lived in Toronto for a little bit. I think he said that on his
he like dated a girl from Toronto.
Yeah, so maybe like he has like friends from like, I feel like I looked and there's a lot of Toronto. So he might just come to Toronto, but I don't think he's just going to do one city. He should do East Coast. He's going to do East Coast.
Also, it's because there's 7 million people that live in Toronto. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just a higher population.
But I do feel like we have an impact on the East Coast voting. So you guys, if you don't know what we're talking about, James Smith is doing a tour in the US and Canada, and he's asking where his followers are from, like where he should go. And I love his approach, honestly. And so you have to kind of go vote and just say where you're from. So just put New Brunswick, Canada. If you are from New Brunswick, take that 2 seconds, you guys. He could be coming to Moncton. That is insane. And I do believe, and maybe I'm being naive, but I do believe that if he chooses to come to Moncton, New Brunswick, that he's going to reach out to us and he will want to meet us. I truly believe that.
In my heart as well. So please make my dreams come true, you guys. And if you send us a DM, we'll send you the link to go vote for where, because if he came to Moncton, like, I mean, we're going to go see him, obviously.
I think anywhere in the Maritimes, I'm like a for sure. Quebec, like maybe we could get Jeff to fly us or whatever, like something fun could happen.
I'm so sorry, but we're going no matter what, even if it's Vancouver.
I'm not going to Vancouver, but
I'll surprise you. Surprise!
Birthday gift.
Surprise birthday gift.
Oh my gosh. I know. I mean, he's gonna have to come closer to here. I just feel it. It's gonna be fine. He's not gonna do one show. He's gonna do like probably 5 or 6. You know what I mean?
And is there anything in between Toronto and Vancouver? Like what's happening in there? That's a lot of space.
Honestly, that's a lot of space. I think it's like Vancouver, then we'll have probably Toronto and then East Coast. I truly believe there's an East Coast, maybe Montreal and then East Coast. Like this is what I'm seeing for him.
Call us, Luke, if you need us.
Luke, James. But yeah, so woke up to an email from Luke, who is James' business partner. And he was like, hey girls, we're just reaching out to people that James knows in Canada. And I'm like, excuse us. And we're wondering whereabouts you guys are located. So I was like, oh my God, if you need my help, anything East Coast, we got you, whatever. So he didn't respond. He's not a good responder, but he will respond when they decide. I know it. I feel it in my heart. They will need our help. And so this is exciting, and we will let you all in on the fun. Okay, so here we go. Today we are continuing our tips for weight loss success. So far we've done 3 tips. We've done tip 1, knowing calorie deficit. Tip 2, no meal plan. Tip 3, no calorie counting. Okay. And also while we went through the tips, we said, know this, but do this instead. So we've definitely we're also giving you not just not to do, but what to do as well. Okay. All right. So number 4 is keeping it simple. So I love this because it's not a don't do this, it's do this. And I feel like this is an important conversation in the weight loss industry, or in the weight loss conversations, is to keep it simple. I do feel like the weight loss industry, the diet industry, has definitely complicated weight loss for the humans. And their intent behind that is to say, like, we have a special recipe over here. We have a special way to do weight loss. But then they realize that, you know, that was not appealing after a while, and keeping it simple is very appealing to the humans. Like, oh, it's going to be simple. And so they kind of twisted their meal plan approach to let's keep it simple. We're helping you keep it so simple. We're just going to tell you what to eat. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like they're kind of using your emotions here and what you want to their advantage, and not really talking about what you need at the end of the day for successful weight loss.
Yeah. And it's like, well, you don't have to think. That's what kind of like, that's the good part about it. Well, I don't have to think about what I want to eat.
Yeah. And so what's happening is often weight loss programs are definitely, and I mean, it's a good way to sell your service, is they're just selling one side of the story. You know what I mean? So, we sell both sides of the story. This is what you're going to have to be doing. And the other side is, this shit is going to take time. And it's like, basically we're talking about the things that you don't want to be talking about that are not appealing, but we don't want to be selling just one side of the story.
I am just having a moment where I'm like, that is, yes, that's what we do. And other programs do not do that. No. We're so honest about that. And maybe that's part of what holds people back from joining, because we don't have the sexy transformation in this amount of time, and I promise you this, and this, we show you both sides. But I promise, even if the other program is not showing you both sides, there's another side.
And there are consequences to their service as well. So we are saying what the consequences are of our service. You know what the consequences are? It's going to take a fucking long time for you to fix your relationship with food. Yeah. And it's going to be on you, and you need to have an open mind. And so we have those conversations of the other side with you. I want to have an honest moment with our listeners, Alicia, where I want to share with you what I was talking to, when I said I was having a conversation with Jeff and he was being the devil's advocate, and it's hard to hear sometimes. And I want to share this with our listeners, because it's not bad. It's just, it's the truth of what's happening. And I think they need to know that we're having these conversations in the background about our service at Your Way Weight Loss. And Jeff, Your Way Weight Loss has stabilized in terms of the amount of members that are coming in and what's been happening this past year. I mean, a lot of has happened. Your Way Weight Loss is a weight loss program that is definitely needs to be something that people want to spend money on. So like just anything else, like Weight Watchers and whatever, like you need to want to use your income to put on this extra thing in your life. And so that has definitely had an impact on Your Way Weight Loss and on our numbers for sure. But Jeff was like talking about, and I was like, I think that's the biggest one. Inflation, we're like on the verge of a recession. Like I understand that piece. Obviously our opinion on that is that everyone's spending money somewhere, and we need to realize that we have choices on where we spend our money. And yeah, we have choices. Exactly. We want people to choose Your Way Weight Loss. We want people to realize the value that it adds to their life, and that $40 a month, it can be spent there on a bottle of wine. Like, it's not like it's like this $700. And so we need to realize that piece is a conversation. It's not like, yeah, too expensive. I think there's a conversation to be had here about the service and the value of that $40, and that you really don't have it, or we're spending it somewhere else. It's just the honesty behind the conversation. So that was one part of our conversation. The next conversation, Jeff said, do you think that your service is no longer what people are looking for right now? And I said, absolutely, because people are trying to lose weight the fastest way possible. And it hurts because it's like, I understand what he's saying. He said there was a point where it was growing and growing and selling and selling. And he said, like, your message has changed, but my mission has never changed, but the way we show up on the internet has changed. In what way? Maybe you ask. Well, there was a lot of calorie deficit talk. There was a lot of and we still believe in that. And sometimes it's repetitive in terms of we want to teach you what a calorie deficit is inside the membership. We don't hide the fact that to lose weight, there's a calorie deficit. If you've been listening to us, you know that's what we do. But maybe our forefront is not as sexy. The way we sell Your Weight Loss, like when you find us, it's not as sexy as that freaking ad. I cannot believe the things that I see on the internet right now about intermittent fasting. I don't know why it's everywhere on my freaking Facebook. Intermittent
Because
fasting
you
is
watch
everywhere.
it. If you watched one ad, you've sent the message to your phone that you will keep watching it.
Oh my God, I'm watching it while I'm cringing. That's why I'm watching it. I'm mad. But it's like this girl that literally has 0.5% body fat, and she's like a fitness whatever, and it's like a fitness competitor. Like there's no body fat on her, and it's intermittent fasting. Now they've done like, depending on what month you're born, like if I'm a Leo, I intermittent fast for us. They're just bullshitting everyone over and over, just trying to get your attention. And it's just like, it's like, that's not our way. We're not trying to bullshit you and getting your attention. And so it's hard for us because, and I said to him, he's like, you have to decide, like, is your mission more important than growth this year? Like, what do you want? And I'm like, I think both can coexist, Jeff. You need to give me time. You need to like give us time, because this is something that society is not embracing fully, but some are. There are people are there that are tired of meal plans. They have to believe us first. This shit takes time. It's not that quick conversion. People don't buy into your weight loss in 2 seconds. For sure. They think we're bullshitters, just like everything else. Like, it's just what it is. It's that hard piece. And so I just want you to know that, like, this is where we are right now, but our mission is we want to get louder. So if we get louder, more people will hear what we're about. This is what I'm thinking. There is a transition period here, but we are very loud about, we want to stop you from dieting. We want to stop you from even thinking about intermittent fasting. And you just wake up and decide if you want to eat or not. Like, it's not because you're a Leo. Like, it's not because it's 8 a.m. Like, because you are now so in tune with how you want to live your life. You deserve our service. And that's why I'm like, I'm not giving up on like what, because our service is so different. I'm like, yeah, but one day it won't be. One day it's going to be the service. I know it, but we have to keep pushing. So that was our conversation, that like, it hurts that to like, you know, he's like, well, maybe your service. And we're just like talking about, and I'm like, it's like, I don't care. I do care, but I'm like, I have to keep fighting for it.
You do care, but you're not willing to. And we've had several moments in the history of the business where we had conversations like, wait, should we give them a meal plan? Wait, like we've had moments where it was like, it would be sexier, more people would join if, and you know, we've always stuck with what we believed in, and it's gotten us to this point. And you're right, it is so different. And I think what happens sometimes is, it's not that people think that I think people trust us, but I think they just don't understand how it's possible. They do not understand how it's possible.
Absolutely. And I think that it's that piece, they want to know how before they become a member.
Exactly.
And they're like, I still don't understand the how. I'm like, well, the how is inside the membership, because it's this process that you have to start changing your language.
Yeah.
And so I can't show you on a piece of paper how. I can show you what you will learn about. And then when you learn, you will see how, and you will find your way. And I think that for us, it's like recognizing that I'm holding on to the people that were so successful with your weight loss. So that's how I know it works. So in my mind, I'm not questioning anything in terms of our service. Our service works. That's why, and I'm so proud of what we offer as a service. And then I'm so proud of the people that accomplish it.
Yeah.
Because if we start doing one-on-one, and if we start doing meal plans, we're not helping our humans accomplish what we want them to accomplish, and to believe what we want them to believe. And so we have a right that our service provides this type of result. And the result is not just weight loss. The result is that that woman feels so empowered and goes on vacation without the fucking stress of the buffet. You know, like that we give so much more to a human than weight loss.
I mean, our service is so much bigger than weight loss.
Yeah, it like provides so much more than weight loss. And so that's why I'm like, I don't want to change it, because if I go to meal plans one-on-one, I'm just providing weight loss. And that's not what I want to provide to our members. I want to provide way more than that. Our service provides way more than that, Jeffrey. And so he wasn't like, and he's so good. I'm happy we have him, because he's not like just like, yeah, you guys are great, just biggest fan over here. He's really just questioning our business model, our service, what we're doing. And it's always with the intention of us developing self-awareness. So see how that's what we're doing with our members. He's just questioning things to make sure we're catching ourselves in our own bullshit. If there was bullshit, he just wants us to keep reflecting on what we're doing. And I said, our service is beyond weight loss. And sometimes people get mixed up on, I want weight loss, but they want the other service as well. And we just have to keep showing up and getting louder.
I truly believe that when people are seeking weight loss, they're actually seeking happiness. And like, they're like, I'm like, when you are choosing, I'm going to be on a diet, it's because you're not happy.
Yeah.
And weight loss can be a piece of that. Like,
there's
if you're
other
a
things.
truly genuine happy person, I feel like you're not looking for weight loss. You're just like, I'm good. But when you join, you're looking for happiness and you think it's coming with weight loss. And I've said it before, I'll say it again.
So
weight loss
powerful.
is a piece, like weight loss is a piece of happiness for some people. Fulfillment, feeling comfortable in your skin, you know, that moment where you feel confident enough to walk in a room, all of that can be a part of it, but it's just a part. And our service offers the whole thing.
Yeah, our service really, so just so people know, just because your dress is now a smaller size doesn't give you the happiness and confidence to walk into a room. Like, it really is about working towards how you speak about yourself, what your like, just there, it's so complex. Happiness is so complex. It is beyond weight loss. Weight loss can be a part of it. You are so right. That was so powerful, that I do believe when people want weight loss in their life, they want happiness. There's a piece of themselves that is missing. And we understand that. We've lost a lot of weight, both Alicia and I. We see what weight loss can provide to you and how, but we also saw when after losing weight, there's other shit we needed to work on. And that's what our service provides.
And if you're someone who's been several weights in your life, I want you to think back to when you were that weight. Were you magically happy, or were you just trying to lose more weight? Like, I think probably most people can relate. Oh, I was in the 150s, I was in the 160s, or in the 170s. When you're in the 170s, you want to be in the 160s. When you're in the 160s, you want to be in the 150s.
Oh, yeah.
You got to work on that mindset. You got to work on being grateful, gratitude, where you're at. It's bigger than just the number.
Yeah. And I think that like realizing that takes time, because you're like, oh no, I was so happy at the beginning. Yeah. For a little bit, it's like a new relationship. Oh, remember how happy I was at 149, but then all of a sudden that wasn't good enough. And I wanted to be 145, and then I wanted to be 139, just another decade. But that all took time. And that's the realization that you always keep chasing. If your focus is just to be at a certain number, you'll always keep that focus. So even if you get to that number, it'll be another number, like, because that was your focus. It's always to like be a number. Anyways, you guys, wow, we are like just all over right now, but let's get back to our tip for successful weight loss of keeping it simple.
Okay. Wow.
So I wrote this. Yeah, I know. I wrote this. Well, basically we realized that the diet industry and the meal plan industry and the intermittent fasting industry is just trying to, it's not trying to cut. At first it was, we're going to help you because it's so complicated. So let's like uncomplicate it. Let's keep it simple. But then it's like, it doesn't have to be complicated. This is how, like, it's like their messaging has kind of changed in terms, they know people like simple. They know people want simple. They want fast as well. So they're selling that to you, you know? Mm-hmm. So sometimes they do want to make weight loss look so complicated. So if they simplify it for you, you're like, thank you so much, diet industry. But again, they're not talking about the other side. So our meal plans will help you. So I think that the simplify for me, when I say keep it simple, and this is my advice, is that I think that people think that weight loss in terms of what you should be eating is so complicated. Like the protein and the carbs and when and what and where and how much and blah, blah, blah. They're like so complicating it. They think it's so complicated. So they need a meal plan that will help them with that complication. And here's the thing. The meal plan is just, it's selling you that there are better foods and this is the best food for you. And that's bullshit.
And that there's like a perfect formula of timing and whatever. And I think also like so that's, you know, that's one piece of this message. But the other piece that I think is more important, more impactful for you guys is within your own little life, within your own four walls. I want you to say to yourself, whatever you want your life to look like as far as your food goes, let's just look at food. Okay. how can I achieve that as simple as humanly possible?
Yeah,
Like,
I love that.
what does that look like for you? And how can you achieve that in as simple way as possible? Whether that's buying pre-cut vegetables, whether that's eating the same thing 3 days in a row, whether that's meal prepping, whether that's a big chili on a Sunday, what's simple to Jose is different to what's simple to me. Like, what's simple to me is not simple to Jose. So it's like, what is simple to you?
Yeah.
Because simple is easy.
Yeah.
And when something feels easy, you will be consistent, and consistency always wins when it comes to weight loss. Always.
The consistency always wins when it comes to success.
Always.
Yeah. You want success, you want weight
Always.
loss, the consistency. That was amazing. Yep, totally agree. I just did a reel about like when you're wondering what you should be eating and you realize you should be eating what you want. The post or the caption was just to explain that sometimes we complicate what should I be eating today? Like, should I be eating this, whatever? And it's the stress and the guilt behind what you should be eating, and you should just be eating what you want. And then sometimes people are like, well, if I give myself that freedom, I'm going to eat all the things and whatever. And I'm like, can you just give yourself that freedom, please? Can we just like start there? And I truly believe that once you give yourself that freedom to eat what you want, your food values come up, your standards are going to come up. And that's when you develop those, because you realize that you can eat what you want, but you also have goals and you also have standards and you also have like success you want to achieve. So that's when once you can coexist what you want with what you want, okay, so what you want to eat with what you want to accomplish, your food values are really going to shine, and you're really going to have a chance to figure this out your way. You know what, Leash, I know this is the end of the podcast, but this one's going to come out tomorrow on Thursday. You know why? Because this is the last podcast before our code runs up.
Okay.
And so I just want to make sure that people have a chance. I wouldn't want this to come out on Monday. On Monday, our code of 20% off our 6 month and year does go away. I think this podcast was amazing. I think there's a lot of vulnerability about our service and what we do. So you guys, Beth will be on the podcast on Monday. Okay. So please listen on Monday's podcast. Today is Thursday. All right. And it is the, the 12th. On Sunday, the 15th, is when our code runs off. There's no more YWWL20 for 20% off a 6 month and a year. So if you've been flirting with it, please know that it's literally 80 cents a day. So if you've been convincing yourself that you can't afford it, I think we need to reevaluate that conversation and have a conversation about what this service could add value. And honestly, this service is going to add so much value for $40 that you're probably going to spend $40 less at somewhere else because of the value inside the membership. Do you see what I'm saying? I think that people think like, I'm not going to buy a program, but I'm going to go and spend a lot of money on fresh fruits and vegetables that I'm not going to eat and end up throwing out. But I just really wanted to give them that opportunity before Sunday. So that's why I want this podcast to come out. It is now Thursday, and on Monday, Beth will be on our podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Remember to keep it simple. This is the best way for you to be consistent. Have a great weekend, you guys. Bye.
Bye.